Coast and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you
Did
hear
Julia
my
send you an
perspective
agenda?
on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts
Jazmine?
and
I feel
opinions
like she can't
of our
hear us.
experienced
Can you hear us,
agents at
Jazmine?
Boston
I can hear you.
Connect Real Estate. Be
I
a
can
part
hear
of
you.
our roundtable. If you have any questions during
Can you
the
hear me?
show,
We can't hear her
please
at all
call
now. How come?
781-837-4900.
Hello?
We love to talk real estate.
Can't hear you.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to
If
listen to
all else
podcasts
fails, I
at
do have
Talk
Clubhouse
Real
on.
Estate Roundtable. If you would
So
like a
I
one-on-one
don't understand why we
consultation
can't
with
see
me and
because
my team
all the
to
settings
discuss
look
your
right.
real estate needs, you can connect with me at
Hello,
bostonconnect.com
can you hear
or
us?
781-826-8000.
Yeah,
Now,
barely.
sit back, relax,
you
take
take
good
that?
notes,
Can you hear
and
me?
let's talk real estate.
And hello to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Tuck Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined live and in studio by the one and only Sharon McNamara, broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good
How are you?
morning. And I am not rocking Boston Connect today. I am rocking our guest company, though.
I know. I saw you in the gear, and I was like, I should have wore mine as well.
I know.
So
Well, I kind of thought that you'd wear Boston Connect, but you have an open house afterwards. So,
I do, yep.
So you gotta be professional out there.
Yep,
And, I am rocking Maritime Mortgage, and that's a little sneak peek of who's on our show today. But yeah, happy Saturday.
Thanks. Yeah. It's Saturday for sure. It's a little gloomy out there this morning, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Rainy days and Mondays don't get me down.
yeah. They don't. Well, okay. So you said rainy days, so I'm like, it's not Monday, it's Saturday. I'm lucky I show up to anywhere I'm supposed to be because the days all sort of blend together. Don't you feel like, especially when they're all rainy? But I heard someone told me that it's going to be really nice next week. So they could have been lying though, because I feel like it's always a lie. It's good.
I think you have trust issues.
It's no, I really don't. I just don't think that the weather's gonna be nice. But yes, we do have a very special guest today. I don't know. Can you say something so your microphone? I know your microphones are working.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Perfect. So we have Jazmine Glasgow from Maritime Mortgage. She's the broker co-owner of Maritime Mortgage, and she's one of the best of the best, if not the best of the best, her and her team over there at Maritime Mortgage. And she has joined us several times on the show, but I am going to give her a moment to reintroduce herself to all of our listeners in case they haven't caught one of her shows.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I need a frequent flyer t-shirt. Just if you're working on those, I would like one. I'm all about the swag.
Yeah.
And as you said, I'm Jazmine Glasgow from Maritime Mortgage Corp. Just getting the disclosure stuff out of the way. We're NMLS 208. So all good things there. We've been licensed for 35 years in the state of Massachusetts. One of the very first mortgage brokers, and we're excited to keep going. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a crazy echo.
I know, me too. I'm gonna do echo cancellation. See if that works. All right, let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, and you've been on our show several times. We have used you several times personally. We recommend you all the time to all of our buyers, and we love you and we love your team over at Maritime. We think that you guys do a really great job. You've also come into the office too and done some like lunch and learns. So we're always learning here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and we love having you come in and sort of teach us anything that you help our clients with as well.
Yeah, and the education part is huge for us. We love to let people actually become educated homebuyers because we feel like that's success in the homeowners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. We have a little sort of topic today that we wanted to talk about just because of the time of the year and what's coming up with.
Did you say good morning to Tim?
I didn't.
Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Tim. But yeah, so today we are going to be honoring veterans. So we're calling our show Honoring Veterans, Unlocking Homeownership with VA Loans. And we're doing that because of Memorial Day coming up. And we thought that it would be a great time to have Jazmine come back on with us and talk about VA loans.
Yeah, and too, I know that one of, the topics that we've been discussing a lot, and I don't even know if Jazmine has an update or not, is, discussing the NAR settlement and what is going on with that. And I hope she doesn't cringe because I'm bringing it up again, but it's like, that's been one of the concerns, I would say, from a lot of people right from day one in regard to, the new rules and regulations for NAR, which is National Association of Realtors, and how that's going to work for our VA buyers. So you are listening. We are live this morning on WATD. We are also streaming everywhere on Facebook, and I believe we're on Instagram as well this morning. YouTube, of course. You can go to youtube.com/Boston Connect, and you will find us there. And then you can also call into the studio, 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. And I know, Monday is Memorial Day, and that's, keeping a memory of soldiers who have been lost and, soldiers who are still alive, and not just soldiers, but Marines and everybody else. And one of the things that's weird is when people say Happy Memorial Day, and it's really not a happy thing. Maybe it's a happy memory, but I know that just always seemed a little weird to me. But we're going to honor them today and talk about unlocking home ownership with them and, a VA loan that they earned and deserve. And I know Jazmine's going to get down and deep into that conversation. But if you have any questions regarding this topic or any other mortgage related real estate question, please give us a call at the studio, 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900, or you can text to that same message and he can get us your message if you don't want to talk. And if you would just like to say hello and you are, a veteran yourself and you want to give us the opportunity to thank you on air, we would love to hear from you as well, 781-837-4900. So Jazmine.
Excuse me, Sharon.
Yeah.
You said this Monday was Memorial Day. It's next
Oh,
Monday.
next Monday. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yep. It's a week from a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay.
You know how it goes.
It's Saturday morning. It's okay. I got you.
I was getting nervous because I didn't hear from you. I didn't hear you. I said, hi, Tim, and you didn't say anything.
I must have had you out of queue. I'm sorry. And
No,
also,
that's
you
okay.
said rainy days and Mondays.
I
Right?
know.
Yeah.
You're so good. He gets me. I love that about Tim. See, Melissa's like, I don't even know what this song is.
Oh, Melissa, come on now.
I might. Does it
come
have
on.
words?
The
Yeah.
Carpenters?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you just had to.
What
okay.
year did this come out?
Probably 1968.
70 something.
No,
70?
yeah, I think around 70. Yeah,
Ready?
I have the exact date.
Perfect. I was born in 91.
Hanging around, nothing to do but frown.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for
Raising
karaoke, guys. You don't want
Mondays
that.
always
Karaoke, guys.
get
You don't want
me
that.
down. That's karaoke for you. That's all I got, folks. And yes, I will stop. All right. So, Jazmine, why don't you tell us again? We're going to get right into our topic here. I love that song. I really do. Tell us a little bit about VA loans, who they're for. Obviously, we know that, but let's get into it and explain what they are and who qualifies.
Yeah, so a VA loan is an earned benefit, and a veteran. Sorry, let me just adjust my audio here. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
You getting feedback?
Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So not only
We can hear you
do
fine,
veterans
so-
qualify for the VA loan, which a lot of people think that is those are the only people who qualify. Active duty service members qualify, and it's all about the amount of service that they participated in. So active duty service members with a minimum of 90 continuous days, even National Guard and reservists qualify. Surviving spouses, either married or unmarried, depending on certain qualifications, qualify. certain members of like public health service and cadet service and academics that do qualify as well. Much harder for that classification, but there is a slew of people who do qualify who don't think that they do. So it's always really important to check, and the way we check is with what's called a certificate of eligibility. It is something that we can obtain as a direct VA. They call them a direct VA lender. We're a mortgage broker, but we have that distinction with the VA. And so we can do an automated search with the date of birth and social security number of the veteran or active duty service member, reservist, etc. And we can see if the VA already has what's called a certificate of eligibility. Otherwise, we obtain documentation like a DD 214, and if you have served, if you are serving, you'll know what that is. They're essentially discharge papers. If you're a reservist, we're going to get things like a point statement. There's different classifications. I won't bore you with all the documents that we have to get, but it's usually typically, especially if someone has served for quite a bit of time or served during wartime, we can almost always get the certificate of eligibility automatically. And it's something we do for the veteran, though they can do it themselves in the VA portal.
I have a question. So why would a veteran think that they don't qualify for the VA loan? Because you said that in the beginning when you were talking about the VA loans and stuff. But like, what would be something that a veteran would think of like, oh, I must not qualify. I'm not going to even try.
So from what I've been told, either they've been told that they don't qualify by someone who does not have access to the VA loan, and they're like, just go conventional, it's fine. Or they were discharged, and they think because they were discharged that they do not qualify. As long as it wasn't dishonorable, then there are certain requirements and timelines. During wartime or peacetime, we'll change that requirement. A lot of people don't even know about the VA loan exists. Too. A lot of veterans come to me and I'll ask the question like, why does that matter? Because it's a program, and it's an earned benefit. And if you did serve and you do qualify, it is an excellent program, and they will have not known. Especially people I find who are a little bit older, like people over 35. I feel like I don't know if I got promoted. I don't know if it was during their service. It wasn't really pushed, but as around for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Maybe you said 35 and I'm like, oh, I'm creeping up on 35. I'm not a veteran, but I'm like older, 35. But I'm thinking when you said that, maybe, somebody who's 35 and is a veteran or currently serving or whatever and is thinking about a VA loan, maybe they think, oh, a VA loan would be for someone even older than me. Like that's something, a benefit of like somebody who served a lot longer than me or a long time ago or something. So maybe that's like a misconception. Could it be?
I feel like
when it comes to applying for a VA loan?
I feel like the younger people know about it more than older,
Yeah.
than people who are kind of older than people who are kind of older than. Because you're not creeping up there just yet. So I would think that maybe even
33.
social media has a big play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I also wonder too, do you think that veterans think, maybe there's a pool of them that think I only qualify for this if I was injured or if I went to war or, you know what I mean? I mean, everybody who has served, whether you served active duty and been deployed, right, and fought in a war, right? I mean, it isn't just for them. And maybe that's a misconception that they have.
That's absolutely possible too. If you've been serving for over 2 years, there's a good chance you do qualify, and that does not apply to reservists and National Guard. Reservists and National Guard members have a different line of qualifications.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, say that again. Say it again.
Reservists and National Guards, they qualify with a different timetable. They have either the 6 years of service for selected reserves and National Guards who discharged honorably, placed on retired list or transferred to standby reserve, or there is a point system as well. So if you didn't have the 6 years of continuous service, it works on points. Well, I won't bore
So
you into
tell
that.
me-
It's very complex.
Well, sometimes you talk anyways, and I'm like, can you explain that to me again? Because, and that's the thing is, I don't want to say that I'm lazy, because certainly I'm not. And by the bags under my eyes, you can probably tell that I've been working a lot lately. But the thing that I love about working with you, Jazmine, is honest to God, like you're so good. And sometimes like I text you and I feel like, oh God, she's going to kill me because like, why don't I know this? I've been in the business for 21 years. I understand the language and I understand the lingo, and I've come to realize what it is. One is I just think that I just put all my trust in you, that I feel like, why do I have to remember it? I have enough stuff in my head.
You're staying in your lane.
I just stay in my lane, right? Because there is no way remember everything that you're doing on top of everything that I'm doing and the attorneys are doing and the home inspectors are doing and everything else that's going along with this whole process, right? So I know like I give you things and you just sort of go with it. And that's why, all my clients know I'm going to refer you to Jazmine because I know that you're going to be in good hands, whether you are a veteran or not. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. And it's too much to do everybody's jobs and know everything about everything. I can't tell you how many times a day I say, you really need to have this conversation with your real estate agent because this isn't something
Yeah.
excel at. It's not something that I should be commenting on. It's not my lane. It's not my expertise, and I don't want to misstep. So you really should talk to your real estate agent about that. And that's why the importance of like having the two different roles. And a lot of loan officers are looking in the future and going, well, with this lawsuit settlement with commissions, maybe I'll take on both roles. And it's just kind of gray. I know a lot of loan officers who are real estate agents, and if that's what they'd like to do, that's good on them. But there's so much, like even just going through qualifying for a VA loan. Do you qualify? Do you have the history? Do you have the points? What about your service? Are we going through the DD 214 route? Am I contacting the VA, directly to get your certificate of eligibility? Can I do it automatically?
Just
This is
talk about
enough
Starbucks
before we even determine if it works for you. This is enough before we even determine if it works for you.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to sort of break down the process of applying for and securing the VA loan. So, somebody comes to you and says, hey, do I qualify? You say yes. Where do you go from there?
Well, it's like any other loan. So we're going to start with an online application and the required documents. We're always going to want to make sure whether you're a veteran or you're not, to make sure that you can afford the payment, to make sure that you can qualify and get approved for the loan that you're applying. So beyond your just general eligibility, we're going to start with an online application and the normal income docs. Then I'm going to search, no action required on the veteran or on the active duty service member. At all. We're going to see if we've got a certificate of eligibility. It's an automatic search. And if it doesn't come back automatically, which will happen, a lot of people who served 1991 and earlier, other people who their service number is not their social security number, we're going to request certain documents from the service member or the veteran, depending on what branch of service they were in their role. We're going to request, say, something like a DD 214, which is their discharge papers, and we're going to manually request that certificate of eligibility. Doesn't mean we're going to pump the brakes while we wait for that. We're still going to see if there are any other loan programs in the interim to get people out and shopping. But this is the best program, hands down, for loans. There's not a better program out there. Now, that not to say that sometimes it doesn't make sense for people to use a different loan, even though they qualify for the VA loan. It just is hands down the best program. It requires no down payment. So any money you have can go into your reserves. It can go into your closing costs. You don't have to tell me what you're doing with it. You don't have to put anything down on the loan. And even with 100% financing, you do not have to pay mortgage insurance. The mortgage insurance is not required. It's not going to be present on the loan. The mortgage insurance is something that's present when you pay less less than 20% down on pretty much all conventional loan programs. It's required regardless of your down payment on FHA. And this insurance goes into a fund to essentially protect the lender in the event that you foreclose. It really does nothing for you as a homeowner, as a home buyer. So having that mortgage insurance not present doesn't create any additional risk for you. It does increase the risk on the the lender side because they don't have that insurance present. But for you, there's no difference except a cheaper mortgage payment. There is what's called an upfront funding fee, upfront MIP, with the VA, and that fee is going to be required unless you're exempt from it. And if you have certain amount of service-related disability or there are other classifications, that fee won't even be applicable. So that would be like the only kind of drawback. The only thing similar or akin to mortgage insurance is with FHA, we have that same upfront cost. It's similar, but for the VA, and it goes to the fund in order to keep going with this program. They have overfunded it many years ago. They don't need to charge it. They still do. So that's kind of the only drawback. Otherwise, you've got a great program, and because it's a government-backed loan, the interest rates are lower. I priced one this morning comparing a 0% down conventional with a 720 FICO. So it's kind of like the standard run-of-the-mill credit score like. And it was on a $500,000 house. The payment was $420 cheaper on a VA loan.
Wow.
That's great.
Wow, that's amazing.
I can't tell you how strongly I feel VA loan. I think
Yeah.
it's a great program. I
Give
think
us some
it's
numbers,
wild-
though. I mean, you're
wild
saying
good.
it's $420 cheaper, but tell me, okay, so you did a conventional loan at 500 with 0% down, which you can't do that with a conventional, though, right?
Oh, but we can. We've got a new program. It's a 0% down, so 3% minimum down payment. And there are qualifications. You have to either be a first-time home buyer or you have to meet certain income limits. Only applicable on a single-family condo or a PUD. But that 3% is it's a silent second, so there's no payments required and there's no interest on that second. So there's no down payment. It's a down payment assistance program. So I compared that because now we're financing 100%. And I did the drawbacks between one and the other. What happens, after a year? I kind of went a little deeper than we needed to for this conversation, but I just want to say, see, if you had that fee, you're going to be rolling it in. Because it depends on do you have service-related disability? Is this your first time using the VA loan, or is this a subsequent use charge? But if we're going to be rolling in that finance fee, then how does this compare? At year one, what are your loan balances? At year two, what are your loan balances?
Tell me what the payment was could you have that handy?
Yeah,
For a $500,000 house, how much would that be?
So for the VA, and again, this is not a direct rate quote.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, please.
I'm not going
Here's our
through the whole
disclosure.
thing.
This
They're
is I'm just trying to
hypotheticals.
get a range or an idea how much this would be.
So for a VA for this loan program, it was no points at 6.25, and it had a monthly payment at $3,050.43. That was financing that upfront fee. So that has a funding fee of $10,427 rolled in with the 3% kind of as that shadow down payment to pair on. And then on the conventional side of things, because we have the mortgage insurance present, because we have an interest rate that's higher, we had a 6.99, same thing on the points, and a payment of 3408.27.
Say that again. How much?
3408.
Just over
3408,
3,400.
Yeah, so it's like $400 more a month. Wow, that's amazing. So I know it seems like we're lagging a little bit. I think that we'll have to figure that out, Mel. One of the things I had a question about was it's only for the veteran, right? So what about if you are married to, if you were married to somebody in the military and they unfortunately are deceased and because of active duty. Could any of those benefits go to the widow?
Yeah, so that's called a surviving spouse eligibility for VA loan. And if they have not remarried and the veteran died as a result of service or service-connected causes, and we're seeing this unfortunately a lot with burn pits, very young people who were in the Middle East and died years and years later because of cancer, lung cancer, and like a bunch of terrible, terrible things. So if that unmarried spouse, so if they didn't get remarried, they're eligible. If their surviving spouse, whose husband or wife or whomever passed away on active duty or from service-connected disabilities, and they're over 57 and have remarried, they're eligible. Or people whose spouses or duty members were listed MIA or prison of war for at least 90 days, they're eligible as well.
Wow. I didn't know that. That was such a good question on my part, don't you think? I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I don't know what made me think about it. Actually, I don't know that anyone knows this, but Mark had an uncle. He recently passed, but he never talked about it, and he was a prisoner of war.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Really? Yeah, he was. He was a prisoner of war, World War II, and he escaped with, I think it was World War II, but he escaped with like 5 Frenchmen. Yeah, so anyways, that's that story. Thank you for your service, Uncle Wendell. So again, you are listening to Talk Real Estate, and I am Sharon McNamara. I am the proud broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. We are located here in Pembroke Center. So if you are in the area, maybe you're going over to Stop and Shop or CVS and you want to see what our studio looks like, come on by and take a peek in here. If you're a veteran, we'd love to just, give you a hug. So come on over. If you have any questions about this topic or any other topic, we have Jazmine here from Jazmine Glasgow from Maritime Mortgage is with us this morning. So any questions regarding loans or anything like that, 781-837-4900. And this morning we are talking about honoring veterans and unlocking home ownership with VA loans. We know Memorial Day is coming up in a couple weeks or a week or two or whenever it is. It's not this Monday. We know that. It's the following Monday. But we definitely wanted to have this program well beforehand. And I'm sure, Jazmine, I'm sure you've done, seminars and things like that, because even being on the radio this morning and you're doing such a great job dissecting it, I think, sometimes maybe veterans and their families, just want that, hey, can we just sit and talk and do a one-on-one? So is it do you ever do workshops and things like that? Or maybe we can coordinate one here if we felt the need, for some of our listeners, if they would like us to do that. I'm sure I'd be happy to do that with us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Education is the cornerstone of our whole operation. And we're really excited. Our new office is almost done in Rockland, and we've got a whole education space that we've planned out. So we intend to host things and just going through the VA basics. One of the things that was super successful before COVID, I had someone from the VA come in and talk to people about applying for a service-related disability. A lot of people, a lot of veterans will go through, life, and it's a lot of I don't know if it's a mixture of pride or shame, or it's just really hard to ask for help sometimes. And they're having issues, health issues, mobility issues, and it's service related, and they're afraid to ask for the help, or they're afraid to have certain classifications taken away. And it's someone from the VA come in and answer questions. One very common one is, will I lose my license to carry if I obtain this? And having them explain the different classifications and what getting that service-related disability, because it's not only a financial benefit, a monthly financial benefit, it also unlocks health benefits from the VA, which I didn't know about. So having someone from the VA come in and answer questions directly to veterans when they're feeling if they can't get access, or it's just not great to go sit and wait at the VA. We'll sometimes have people from the VA come in and explain things and answer those kind of questions. So even if it's not really directly loan related, because having having that VA, that service-related disability, that income, it does help get rid of that funding fee. We're going to make you exempt. It's fantastic for you in a financial way. It's kind of a holistic approach and helps them all over in life. So even if it's just kind of loan akin, we plan on bringing things like that back because it's really about community and it's not really about the loan thing. So even if it's around it, we're here for it.
Yeah. So when you are meeting with a veteran and say that they are receiving, disability or, sorry, the terminology is escaping me, but maybe that's their
service-related
yeah.
disability.
If that's their only source of income, but they do have a spouse and maybe they work and, I'm assuming that you would take both of those, right, to see what they would qualify for, and it's not just the veteran, or
that's a great question. And a lot of I would say the most common time I see the service connected disability is with my firefighter and police clients, and so they're very much working and receiving small stipends. Sometimes it's like $110 a month, and other times it's thousands of dollars a month. And that is income. And not only that, it's non-taxable income, which means I can gross it up. So I can add a certain percentage of that income on top of the income there. So it's $1,000, depending on, we're a little conservative, add 15%, you can go up to 25%, but that's not just $1,000, that's $1,115 or $1,125. It adds up, and you can absolutely use that, and you can absolutely use the spouse income. And with the VA loan, we're not looking at debt to income so much. It's not a requirement for the loan. What we're looking for is a completely different calculation, and so there's a lot of gray and a lot of wiggle room. So if you might not apply or be approved for a conventional loan, there's way more flexibility with the VA loan.
Yeah. Can we talk a minute about, okay, so, you get an accepted offer with a VA loan. What are some things that a veteran can pay for, can't pay for? Because I feel like there's a little bit of misconception. Like sometimes I feel like every once in a while I have a question where like, can they pay for a home inspection? Can they pay for a pest inspection? Can they, and then you talked about closing costs, which I hadn't even really thought about before, with being able to pay for closing costs and stuff. So how does that look and how does that work?
So I would think the biggest misconception is that a veteran cannot pay for their pest inspection. That was changed quite a long time ago. A veteran can pay for his pest inspection, and that's oftentimes been a big hurdle. A veteran can pay for their home inspection, and they often do. And most times, and before when it was kind of widely accepted that the seller paid for the pest inspection, and that was a hurdle, especially during COVID. We worked with home inspectors who would do the pest inspection as a part of the home inspection and not charge a separate fee, and so it was free for the pest inspection, and we got around it that way. So a lot of these hurdles that people are like, oh no, they're gonna think that, and even if there's an uneducated agent on one side or both sides,
I'm gonna let you know I was uneducated.
I don't need to change your mind. Here's a solution.
I was uneducated because I did say that. I thought that they still had to pay, that they couldn't pay for that. So I raised my hand.
It was clarified by the VA a couple years ago. But it is an allowable fee.
Mm-hmm. So what about closing costs?
So there is a limit on what veterans can pay for. So there's kind of like a 1% rule, but it doesn't include points and typical closing costs. But they can generally pay for all of their closing costs. The 1% protects them from origination fees, being too excessive. So I've never had a problem with a veteran paying standard closing costs, hitting any of these tolerances because we just don't overcharge. But there is a safety cap of 1% that veterans cannot pay, and veterans are not allowed to pay. As far as the VA stands right now, the VA does not allow the veteran to pay realtor commissions.
Okay. Good to know.
All right. So has there been conversations about that?
Oh, absolutely. There have been conversations, but
I mean,
the
with people who matter.
VA, they have not come out and said anything yet. They have not changed their stance on it. There has been no, we're looking into this and we're going to consider. It's, so far for us, nothing has really changed.
Well, with the VA loan and the VA process, so like I said, you have an accepted offer, just going through the process. What happens, or does an appraisal look different when it comes to a VA loan? Because it is 100% financing. So what does that look for the appraisal?
So with any loan type, we are going to be looking at the appraised value meeting the sale price. So you want the appraised value to be at or above the sale price. So regardless of your down payment, whether you're putting 40% down, 50% down, or nothing down, we're still looking for the same value, and it's still going to be the same process. An appraiser, which is a third-party person, is going to go out to the property, inspect the property, and then use the data collected from the physical inspection to compare against recent sales, typically within 1 year, typically within 1 mile, and they're going to try to put a market value on the property. The only additional thing with VA, well, not the only, I should say, the loan program is very vast, but they are going to be looking for any safety issues at the property. So similar to FHA, they're looking for, chipping and peeling paint, and I don't really see it like push that much. Broken windows is one of those gray area things.
Railings, right?
I've seen it flagged. I've seen it waived. They're looking for roofs at the end of their life. They're looking for curling shingles. And this applies to all of the buildings on the property. So that's going to be the garage and shed. They just want to make sure it's a safe property. However, it's the same exact process. And technically, conventional loans and conventional appraisals have a safety requirement too. They just don't have such an emphasis on it. So the only thing I've seen, the most common thing I've seen in conventional safety standards get flagged is when you have a second floor door that leads to your death. Like it's just like nothing's there.
Yeah.
And can we? Yeah, well, let's just have a show on that, okay? Like the things we see. I think that should be one of our shows. Just a fun show. The things we see.
It would be a great.
Oh,
I've got like four things from just this week, but so we've got the safety standard, typical things that would align with FHA. But then we're also going to have environmental things. So they're going to be looking in the Northeast for wood destroying insects. So that's a termite or pest inspection. If there's a well, they're going to be doing a well water test. They're going to be looking for certain distances between the well and septic system. And the septic system in a home is a private sewer system where it's really a contamination area, and then a well is where you get water from. So when we think about it, we don't want them
living near each other.
So
you don't want to accidentally drink from the wrong one, right?
Exactly. Or have a pipe go through one and corrode. But people fight against it, be like, this is silly. I'm like, not really.
Not really.
No.
One other question about the appraisal. So say it comes in short, is a veteran allowed to sort of bridge that gap, or would the question be proposed to come down in price?
Okay. And that was my question as well. So is there the mandatory clause? Is there a mandatory clause or agreement to this?
Yeah, so that's a separate thing. That's an agreement that pretty much says that you cannot hold a veteran. It's the same thing for FHA. You can't hold them to the contract if the appraisal doesn't come in. However, VA loans have this, or VA appraisals have this great thing called Tidewater. So if the appraiser is not coming up with the value, they will literally put in a report that says, I need more information. Like, how did you come up with this? So I've had appraisers call me and go, I am way off. Where did you get this? And I was like, well, what are you using for comparables? And I was like, that house had burned down. Like, did you look through the photos? I was like, there was a really nice 2 photos in the front, and then the back of that whole other house that you're using is gone. And they're like, oh, I totally missed that. So before we even get the appraisal report, this Tidewater initiative gives us an opportunity to provide more data and to provide better comparables and to get the value where it's at. If there's, it's kind of like avoids this huge delay with what's called a reconsideration of value. And the VA does allow reconsideration of value. They're going to be a little bit more detailed. You're going to be a lot cleaner in your approach. But essentially, if the house isn't worth what someone's paying for it, then it becomes a value, a personal value. And like you say, the customer's always right. It matters of choice, it matters of design. It's one of those preference things. And so a lot of VA loans, even though there's zero down payment required, people will put a down payment. So if you're going to buy a house for $500,000 and you're going to be having a $10,000 down payment in a loan of $450,000, if it comes in, even though it's a $500,000 purchase at $475, you can still buy that house with the same amount of cash, and now you're just bridge the gap. You pretty much have an appraisal gap built in of your down payment.
Yeah. Do sellers realize that, or should they be educated? Yeah, because I'm thinking what does it matter to them? Like, they're still, at the end of the day, like, they're getting the sale price that they're being offered. So like, what does it matter to them if they're able to bridge the gap or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. It's one of those things that we have to educate on when our clients are putting in offers. People will be like, "Well, it's a VA loan, so that's not good." A VA loan with a down payment is, in my opinion, the strongest offer. You have an automatic appraisal gap. In fact, one of our clients bought a house right on the lake. This has been a dream for a very long time. They've been looking for this and looking for this, put in so many offers at other places, and there was 26 or 27 offers on the property, and they were going $100,000 over ask, but they had a substantial down payment of like 200,000, and brought it to, but they wanted to do 100% financing if they could, and brought it to the seller. I'm like, you have this $200,000 appraisal gap because our clients have decided that the value to them is the offer number. It's not what the bank thinks the house is worth. And we had a deep conversation. I said, at the end of the day, if someone walks by your house and says, that thing, that's awful. Like, do you care? Like, it's
That's awful.
if this is your forever home, and this is not their first property, we're not having this conversation with first-time home buyers. But if this is your forever home, this is something you've been working towards for over a decade, and you finally have it, and you're willing to pay for it, do you really care what the bank says it's worth? If you got the numbers, you're comfortable with the payment, and everything else, out of pocket is the exact same. I said no. So then you go in with this approach, and you be willing that at the end of the day, whether they say it's worth $1 or they say it's worth the 900,000 you're offering, that you're okay with that. And they came with that mindset. The appraisal came in over what they were asking for it.
Wow.
It was just a weird house to comp, and they were fine. But the beginning of that conversation is all education. Are you willing at the end of the day to pay for what this house is worth, whether it's a combination of loan and down payment or whatnot? But are you coming out of pocket at the end of this 30-year term with the same amount of money? And are you okay with it? Are you okay with the payment? Is it just a mind switch? Because some people will, be like, oh, well, come in at value. I mean, you have a 55% down payment. Now you have a 35% down payment. Does it really matter?
Yeah.
Is the house still worth to you what you were going to pay for it? If the seller's not willing to sell it for less.
Let me ask a question. So I have a whole list here, and Melissa is really into this topic this morning. So as she was asking all those great questions, I was writing down some of mine. So one of them is, even though they have the ability to get 100% financing, do they have to with the VA loan?
No, absolutely not. Most of my VA, VA clients put something down. Put a little skin in the game, lower the loan amount, payment that's more manageable. It's all about balance. It's all about balance.
And then with the scenario that you just gave about having $200,000 somewhere, I don't, how could they write up their offer so the seller feels secure in rather than just words, like sort of like monetarily, like, hey, I am putting down $200,000, but I am going to try to find, I am going to attempt to get 100% financing. I am going for that, but maybe could you do like a non-refundable something, or maybe just here, I'll hold this in escrow just so you feel comfortable, like we are going to proceed forward.
Yeah, so that I would write in an appraisal gap if it was me. First of all, I don't do anything non-refundable in real estate. I do not believe in that. I think
I don't
that
either, but
everyone's been playing a little loose and fast last few years, and with VA and FHA, with this mandatory clause that's signing, you can say it's not refundable. That clause gets you out of everything. It trumps everything. So you're just being. I think it's a little disingenuous to do it that way with a VA loan. Like conventional, it's fair game, but. With the VA or the FHA, if it doesn't appraise, that mandatory clause gets them out of the contract if they wanted to. You can, however, put in a VA, you can put in an appraisal gap and say up to this, say for this house, it was 900,000, put in an appraisal gap up to 700,000. It has to appraise at or above 700,000 and we'll proceed. So if you're listing a house for 800,000 and someone comes in 100,000 over and you get an offer that says, I will cover this even if you're off on your list price by $100,000, I feel like that's pretty strong.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. So I love that. But I had another question.
Okay, so while you're thinking, I'm jumping in. Sorry.
All right, well, we only have about 7 minutes left, so get all your questions out.
Well, okay. As if we can't talk to her anytime we want. But what about, so one of the things I do want to do is just debunking the misconceptions and the stigma that goes along with that. And I agree, you sort of trickled upon it a little bit, that I think that the education has to go back to the listing agents, because I know that a lot of times people will feel, oh, I don't have a chance because I'm doing the VA loan. But isn't it, probably more secure than some of the other loans that you're doing, even at 100% financing, correct?
Absolutely. So it has, we're looking for residual income. So for qualifying, we're looking at how much money do you have left over? And it's a really dumb low amount of money that's needed. So it's higher debt to incomes allowed, more flexibility in underwriting, the Tidewater initiative, allowing the appraiser to come directly back to us to get more data, the allowance of a reconsideration of value. And this is an earned benefit. And I think that's the big thing that people miss out on, and we have to have that conversation around. They have the ability to put 0% down, unlike every other down payment assistance program, 0% down, USDA, any of those type of programs. This is something that's earned. This is an earned benefit. Someone who sacrificed years of their life, have people who now, some of them have long-lasting impacts. It never leaves you. And if you listen to the stories of veterans, of active duty people, if you have meaningful conversations, you can see how deserved it is. And so if you have those conversations and you're able to amplify that to listen to say, this isn't a matter of they don't have money. This is a matter of they have earned this benefit and should be treated with just as much respect, if not an emphasis on that, on their offer, because they have to. And when you don't, there's another thing of like, do they have reserves? Can they make it happen? It's all about the people. I wouldn't take a spaceship mortgage approval and go, oh, well, yeah, it's just as good. It has to be who's presenting it, how is the qualification done, is there any experience on this? Because the down payment, the skin in the game really doesn't matter when it's an earned benefit.
Yeah, I saw that the spaceship company that you're talking about also, I saw a commercial last night. There's a spaceship real estate office or something, well, whatever now. Anyways.
I told you that was coming.
Yep. And, for those of us who are in real estate, all know who we're talking about. One of the questions I have is, Jazmine, you and I have known each other for years, but we have some common friends nationwide, and they're listening in with us right now through Clubhouse. And I'm just curious about, are the guidelines, the rules, the regulations, everything that you go through, are they the same state to state, or are there any changes for each state? Like any
Yeah, so that's a great
certain
question.
bylaws?
There are regional requirements. So the VA loan is a national program, but like in the Northeast, we have wood destroying insects. In the South, they have sinkhole requirements. So there are different safety requirements for that appraisal for the property standards. But generally speaking, for the veteran qualifying, it's the same across the board. The property requirements change a bit.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome. Did you think of your other
I
question?
did. Is there like a maximum amount that somebody can that somebody can take a loan out? So like, you get pre-approved for a $5 million loan or something. Like with the VA, is there like a max sort of thing? Or I don't know. I just thought that
No, that's a good one. The
Interesting.
VA does not
Like
set
a low
a
loan?
maximum cap. There's like no maximum loan limit. However, there is an entitlement requirement, and there's that lenders need to be willing to lend it. And so you have your charge entitlement. That's your amount that allows you to go up with no down payment. And then you're going to have, to come across that, and you have to have the lender side of things. So the biggest VA loan I think I've ever done was 1.5 million, but we don't have $10 million purchase prices over here, where we are. Come up as common.
And Jasmine, I have one more question before we can let Melissa talk about some of our open houses this weekend too, and give you another opportunity to introduce yourself. I can't even believe that hour just went by. But let's just say that somebody who is a veteran and qualifies for this, but they didn't realize that they could. And you sort of hit upon it earlier, and it's interesting because I was talking to Nick Flynn, who is one of our agents here, full-time agents here with his wife, Trish Flynn, the Flynn team. And I was talking to him, we were just talking about different things, and you hit upon it it's almost like they are trained to be in control all the time and to know how to respond. And I would guess that sometimes they don't ask for help because they've been trained to just know how to do it. So I think that that's awesome that, I think that people can hear in your voice that you're very easy to get along with. You are so knowledgeable that they can certainly 100% reach out to you. But for those veterans that perhaps did not understand this, was afraid to ask questions, and just went for a traditional, conventional style loan, and they are in their property now, can they refi out into a VA loan, or how could they take advantage of that benefit that maybe they weren't aware of that they were eligible for?
So absolutely. So a veteran can refinance pretty much at any time. And if you're unsure if you qualify, you can go right into your e-benefits portal to see if you do. You can reach out to me or lgy@va.gov, and they can give you your eligibility. But you can absolutely refinance out of that conventional, drop the mortgage insurance if it's required. But you just want to make sure that that it makes sense for you, that there is a good break-even point from the cost to do the refinance to closing.
Yeah.
I've
Our
got
music is
one
going.
going on right now where that's exactly it. They bought in the fall, conventional.
I don't think she can hear the music. Jasmine,
and they're saving.
Jasmine, stop. Wait, I want you to get your information out real quick. Get your information. That's what I need for sure.
Maritime Mortgage. You can reach out to our team at help@maritimeloan.com. Reach out to us at maritimemortgage.com as well.
All right, perfect. Sorry that I had to cut you off there, but hey, that's live radio for you. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you. Bye, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to.
Oh, she already hung up. I was going to have her stay a little bit.
The South Shore's first choice for live team coverage of breaking news, emergency traffic, and severe weather. 95.9 WATD FM Marshfield and 95.9 WATD